Oh, we can't hear you. Kate, we can't hear you.
Let me get to the bottom of this, folks. I'll give Rep Hogan a call.
Okay, thank you.
How's that?
That's much better. Welcome.
Oh God, I panic so. It happens about every 50th call. It's just like, I don't know how to fix this. It is delightful to see you all this evening, and it's always great to come together and a great opportunity to address you folks, the select board, and the town. Give a very brief update, more or less begin the conversation, because I know that you have 15 minutes before a very long select board meeting, and I certainly won't get in your way there. We just passed some immigration reform yesterday and got out a bit late, not as late as I thought, but I understand, that from local infrastructure projects to school funding, regional transportation, public safety, there's so much that we'll be probably discussing over the next year, and I appreciate always your continued partnership in advocating for the needs of Bolton and Bolton residents. On the state budget front, Governor Healy has proposed a $63.4 billion budget for FY27. It's about a 3.8% increase, with Bolton set possibly to receive increases in local aid across education and UGA. And at the same time, we're navigating real fiscal pressures, particularly anticipated loss of about 3.7 billion in federal funding to Massachusetts through 2028 as a result of actions by the Trump administration and congressional Republicans. I mean, the only way I can really describe it to you is working on shifting sands, trying to move ahead, trying to make plans, trying to look to the future, and at the same time feeling you're not quite sure if tomorrow is going to be the same as today in terms of what's being said, what's being promised, what's being taken away. So we continue to believe in the future and believe in our people, and so we make our plans. And I just need to be able to work with you folks. I will, be bringing things to the budget debate, knowing how much we need school funding and a look at formulas, knowing that we are in a situation where, energy affordability and transportation, all of those things become extremely important in communities that want to move forward, and I take that very seriously. I also want to take a moment to recognize the loss of Chief Hamburger. I know that we all spoke during that time, but his 2 decades of service to this community, I know, will not be forgotten, and I'm sure it's been stated by you. And take the opportunity to join you all in welcoming our new police chief, Donald Murphy. It's feel lucky to be here and that I'm able to meet him. So I look forward to going through information. I could also just make myself available to your questions as it might suit. So would you rather that I went through quickly issues and things that are going on Beacon Hill, or really take some questions from you? Perhaps I will be able to answer them. Perhaps I will come back with answers, but be able to offer you these next 10 minutes or so to discuss what's going on in Bolton in your eyes, and what you think the needs are, and what help you need from Beacon Hill.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I think from my perspective, you've hit on probably the two biggest items that would be of concern to Bolton, which are increasing local aid and school funding. I know you're aware we had an override last year, and the residents did vote in favor of it, but our tax burden is heavy. Town resources are strained and are constrained. And the school and education is incredibly expensive. And all of those pressures together, I think there's concern, certainly not just in Bolton, but throughout the whole Commonwealth, about what the next several years look like. We really do need more help from the state, I think, on the aid, and just a general restructuring on school funding, because I don't know where we'll be in 5 or 10 years if there's not some major structural changes that help us balance these competing issues. So I know you're aware of it. I know we've written some letters and
Yes, I am very aware.
um,
And I also just wanted to say quickly, if I usually come into the budget discussions in terms of earmarks, talking about Bolton and culverts not wanting to particularly address particular needs that might arise when talking about infrastructure, but let Bolton decide what needs to happen next. But if you need me to maybe move it over to maybe an earmark for ice removal to try to kind of bring that up, if there are things that this winter made difficult, perhaps there's some way to talk about moving some funding around for that, if it's helpful. So
I think Marie may have had a specific question on that point.
okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to say thank you. I'll be following up with your office as the 400K earmark for the Main Street culvert. It's almost at design. We're going to put this forward for congressionally directed spending. And we're getting every indication it will be eventually placed on the tip. So your money in action. There were two things. One of them,
Your money in action.
but the Commonwealth's money.
Yes,
efforts,
indeed.
paying
I mean,
off.
it's great to see, local, state, and federal partnership there. That's everything.
Yeah, the two things. One of them is the our MART last mile or MART micro transit. We'd originally received very cheery news that Bolton, Stowe, and Sterling had been informed it would be funded, and then had received a retraction of that cheery news,
Yes.
which was very sad. I'm not sure what the program would look like in the coming funding cycle, but it's a vital thing.
I was not pleased with the idea that you would have a program for a year, encourage people to ride public transportation, and then sort of just say, well, that's the funding's gone, so it's gone. And so I've called up. I'm going to be meeting with the folks from MART. I was able to get some money in a recent supplemental budget that I hope I can use to sort of move things more quickly without putting any stress on my towns, to create some transportation from the regional transit authorities, not just MART, but other transit authorities that might help to create more sustainable transportation for Bolton. So I'll be in touch in the next few weeks. I'm due to meet with MART this month, and to sit down and have a discussion about where they are. There's a new executive director that I'm looking forward to meeting, and through that to begin fresh discussions about how Bolton is best served by MART. And I'm hoping that I can come to you in the next few months with some projects that will be put into place to help. And again, reach out to the select board, reach out to planning, reach out to you, Maria, just so that I know what you're looking for in a more sustainable transportation.
Sounds great. And my other question, dare I ask, the status of the DCAM land home rule, which you had graciously refiled after it
Yes.
didn't get through in the
I
last
know.
session.
I have to say I was crushed when it did not pass because it had passed the House and we had been able to get it out, but it simply did not pass the Senate last session. There was some issues with I think a lot of Senate bills, but we're currently working on getting the home rule out of House Ways and Means. They have a lot on their plate right now. We're getting to budget. And so everything, all of the oxygen can be sucked out of the room for temporarily, but we are working on it. And I have a letter in and I have a meeting with the chairman of House Ways and Means next week where I'll bring up this and let them know we need to get it out in time, and certainly with plenty of time for the Senate to be able to pass it. But I know our senator will work and is well aware that they weren't able to get some things done they wanted to last session, and will double time this.
Thank you.
But apologies, it's frustrating for home rules to hit snags. It's frustrating for all of us, I promise you.
Brian, Bill, do either of you have any questions or issues?
I have one question. Is there any discussion on the transportation costs for special needs kids in the school system
I mean, there's
and how
always
that's hitting their budget?
there's always discussion, and there's always you know, I mean, we're looking to fully fund the Student Opportunity Act, how that, you know, reflects back on those particular costs, but at least in that way, we know that there are going to be more monies coming in that regard. I think that we can come back and look at it once we enter into the discussions during the budget discussion, talk about where and how we're going to be able to help communities that are in need. And I know that's one area that is going to be a focus for myself and for other legislators.
Thank you.
My only comment is just I wanted to say continued thank you to your office for being very responsive to municipal concerns. I know Marie feels like it's a really strong continued partnership, and it is so important because these little culvert projects, infrastructure things, any extra money is really helpful to a community like ours.
And when I look at Washington, it's hard for me to believe that, you know, we do in some ways the same job, because it seems so complicated there in a way. And in a way here, extremely complicated, but not complicated. So yeah, we'll be working closely together this year, looking to see where we're going to be. I think 2026 elections will give us an idea of where and how much we should worry, should I say it that way, and then continue to move forward. But I'll be in touch soon, hopefully with the home rule, and then also to talk about transportation moving forward and the budget. I'll also circle around on how we might want to use any earmark I might be able to get this year for the town, and what's in line for payment, or what has gone over budget. So I look forward to that. Be in touch.
We appreciate your time, Representative Hogan. I'm going to ask if we can steal you for just one more minute,
Absolutely.
because the next item on our agenda is welcoming our new police chief, Don Murphy, who is here. So I'd like to just let you two say hello to each other, since this is the first time you'll be meeting.
Yes. Oh, this is great. It's great to see you, Chief. We're so glad to have you in town. Welcome, welcome. I think it'll be a beginning of a great friendship.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And we are overjoyed to welcome Chief Murphy. He was sworn in last Friday. Bill Nichols was able to be there from the select board, so we're glad Bill was able to be there. I'm sorry I wasn't, and I'm sure Brian also is sorry we couldn't be there in person. But you are officially on the job, and do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm a almost 18-year veteran of law enforcement. Most of my career was in Westwood. My last rank was a lieutenant. I saw the posting for the Bolton Police Chief's job. I thought it was an exciting opportunity to take. I was very fortunate to be presented the opportunity to represent the Bolton Police Department, and I've been ecstatic ever since you guys announced that I was going to be selected to be the next Bolton Police Chief. It's been a whirlwind of a week, to say the least, trying to learn a new records management system, but Lieutenant Barry has been fantastic. And the crew that I'm working with, everybody, I had some training with them on Monday, and you can see that everybody generally cares about one another. And that's very encouraging to see, being the head of the department. But it seems like it's a good workforce, and I'm excited to keep continuing on.
Well, thank you very much. We're very glad to have you. Bill, Brian, do you have anything you want to add?
Welcome, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, and sorry I was out of town for your swearing in, but congratulations, and it's great that you're here.
Thank you, sir. No, I'm so excited, and I appreciate the opportunity.
And I'll just take a quick moment to say that it's not often that we get a lot of love mail at the town of Bolton, but the select board was recently made aware of a glowing report from a resident in town about interactions with the police department. So that was wonderful to hear. And we share your view that we've got a great group of people in Bolton.
No, that's excellent. That's what we strive for. And thank you.
So Representative Hogan, thank you. Chief Murphy, thank you, and
Thank
welcome.
you, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good luck. We'll be in touch. And
Thank
I'll give
you.
you a call in a few weeks, Chief. I won't bother you now. I know you're drinking from a fire hose. So
You can
We'll
bother
talk
me
soon.
anytime. That's not a problem.
take care.
So,
Good night.
thank you.
Good night.
All right, have a good
Okay.
evening.
Good night, Chief.
Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is a departmental update from our conservation agent, who I believe is here. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, how are you this evening?
Good, thank you. I know you had provided us with a very detailed departmental overview, but do you want to just take a couple of minutes to walk us through some of your kind of biggest points and introduction as to what you do, your biggest challenges, and any way that we can help you here?
Sure. I will try my best to be brief, but many of you know I sort of tell the full story and then come back to the point. So I apologize if at any point it spans that way. In your packet, I did share a couple visuals along with the summary that really breaks down the responsibilities of the Conservation Office. This really ranges from our main workload drivers, which are extending from the enforcing, authorizing projects under, permitting, under the Wetlands Protection Act and the local wetland bylaw, both of which back into Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 8C. Then we range to land management needs over, oh, thank you, Jenny. Over 2,000 acres of open space and over 56 miles of trail throughout the town of Bolton, which we are so lucky to have that space and the ecological services that are provided by those spaces. It ranges as well to coordinating outreach events, which one was today. We have many more in April, so I encourage you to attend, and anyone watching, please do. And then we also look for local partnerships and sharing resources and making sure that we're on par or ahead of regulatory updates and the needs of the community, and pairing with the Commonwealth as well, obviously, and at the state level, their regulations. Currently, the Conservation Department it's technically 1.5, but I don't mean to diminish any of the work that our land use administrative assistant does. So I'm very happy to say I'm no longer Department of 1 staffing, and I haven't been that way for a little while, as you're aware. And our land use administrative assistant and I are both full-time, not salary, but compensated. And I report to the town administrator and the Conservation Commission, to the best of my knowledge. And Lauren, our land use administrative assistant, reports to myself, and she's a split position between the town planner and I, so also the town planner. And she is a wealth of a resource. We also have our senior tax rebate program volunteers who assist us throughout maintaining trails, doing different office opportunity projects as well. We're regularly, as you saw from the information I provided in the packet, looking for and applying to grant opportunities to offset the conservation budget, which we try to keep relatively level funded. And we're able to do so through the partnerships, through the Senior Tax Rebate Program, through our Bolton Trails Committee, to manage and maintain our open space that we have primarily, because without it, that's one of our main challenges, is maintaining the open space and the trails and making sure that they're managed in a mindful manner. And so one of the things we've done this year was we have completed our forest stewardship plan for the Taggart forest land parcel, which was acquired fairly recently. And with that, the commission will, in the next couple of years, be carrying out some of those practices. And some of them will be partnerships with the state to carry out some of those practices, and some of them will be grant funded as well. And again, I mentioned the grants previously. I cannot stress enough that any project that we have, I am always looking for additional funding or to offset costs by applying to grants, whether it's a large project or a small project. One of the documents I included was all the grants, except for one. I did miss one recently, which was associated with the Taggart Forest Stewardship Plan. It broke down all the grants that we've received for the Conservation Commission, and it was highlighted to ensure that it was noted which grants were specific to land maintenance. So nothing new, maintaining what we have and offsetting that cost. For goals going into FY27, the Conservation Commission voted to carry over from FY26 because I was out on leave for a majority of the year. And that the main goals are to adopt CPA funding and support that effort, to carry out the Bowers Dam maintenance, which is actually basically restoration of the 2 earthen dams on the property, and the focusing on land conservation or preservation efforts toward Camp Resolute and agricultural lands as well. Then focusing maintenance and management of current land holdings and trail systems. These were voted by the commission and kept in mind, obviously, as we submitted our FY27 budget. And in terms of, I mentioned we work with our partner organizations regularly. That's sharing physical resources and informational resources as well. We are part of 2 different watersheds, the Nashua and the Suasco. So we actually are able to share a lot of resources from both, which is very interesting from a conservation standpoint. Looking ahead and the hurdles we face, I think it speaks for itself. The dam maintenance or restoration at Bowers is a proposed capital expenditure for the warrant coming, or for annual town meeting coming up. The benefit of that, we have applied for Mass Trails funding as well to offset the cost. This work needs to take place. We've waited really as long as we're able to without impacting the use of the property. If we're unable to carry out the maintenance, we're probably a year or 2, if not less, away from closing those trails. This is a major property when it comes to one of our most popular trails being used by multiple community members. So that's why we wanted to propose it again for a capital request in hopes that the community acknowledges that and is willing to fund it going forward so that we can repair it now so it doesn't cause any significant impacts, both from an environmental standpoint, ecologically, and for the community that utilizes that land. The other, as I previously mentioned, is land management. In the packet, what I highlighted was or in the summary, what I had highlighted, and I'll bring up again here, is we do have a volunteer land steward position, and it's not funded in any way. We do, as projects come up, have offered paid internships, but again, specific to grant funding, it's very minimal, and it's very project specific and time limiting in terms of the opportunity there. One thing, again, being mindful of the fiscal constraint, is potentially having a land steward who's maybe part-time, who's able to work on a regular schedule, and I have nothing negative to say about our wonderful volunteers, but having someone that we can direct and be able to put on a schedule to regularly be out there would be really helpful. Then also, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. The other item is just acknowledging that we have at Bowers also, the commission's currently discussing putting a leash requirement, or they're establishing whether or not they're going to put a leash requirement at Bowers Spring Conservation Area, because we've had some conflicts with community members, and Harvard is looking to replicate whatever that results in. So certainly going forward with what the commission determines is best for the conservation property for preserving those values, I would respectfully ask that when we're at that point, whichever way it may be, that the select board be willing to support that and help us with public awareness to just ensure that everyone's aware of what's required on that property and respectful use of our conservation areas. I've been talking for a while now, so if anyone has questions or if I have glazed over something you'd like me to speak a little bit more on, I am more than happy to do so.
No, from my perspective, that was a very comprehensive presentation. I think gives us a very good idea of all of the work that you and Lauren both put in, with a very limited budget for what is one of the biggest priorities that everybody in town agrees on, which is preserving our natural resources. And it's a top priority, but with limited funding. And I'd just like to thank you for all the work that you put in, because it does have a huge impact on the community.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And respectfully, I will also extend that to Lauren, because not only now, but even while I was on leave, she has done an exponential amount of work to make sure that the community is still getting the same services.
Brian, Bill, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, Rebecca, thanks so much. It's good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, as it's starting to warm up, I'm looking forward to spending even more time out there in all of our great properties that I know you guys are helpful in stewarding. So happy spring almost.
Yeah. Thank you.
Rebecca, I have one question on your action items here. I see the accessibility, trail accessibility, which I know is a very hot topic of conversation in the conservation land. Do you have an idea of where that first project would be, which lands it would be on? And is there considerable grants for something like that?
The short answer, I'm going to answer your questions a little backwards here, so I apologize for reordering them.
That's
But I believe you're referring to one of the goals from the Open Space and Recreation Plan. So that is one of the priorities through the Open Space and Recreation Plan, which is good for 10 years. That's within the first, just sort of bring everyone up to speed here on the meeting. The first couple of years, that is something that we're working on. There are 2 properties that I have thought of regarding the existing grades and the scope of work that would have to be carried out to establish something that is close to or as accessible as you can get on an open space property. And you sort of hinted at that, Bill. There's some technical components to it aside from making it paved, and there's limitations. But long way of saying there are grants available. There's park grants. there are specific through the Office of Disability, there's different of I'm sorry, I may be referencing the wrong department, but there is specific to that department, there are grants available. I would be focusing on, and I have inquired to the grant administrator for Land Water Conservation Fund and the Park Grant Administrator, which is one and the same. And specifically, the project I've been inquiring about to her is potentially putting a boardwalk like accessible trail around Fifeshire. I don't have all of the opportunities for funding figured out yet. I've been doing that over the course of while I was out. I mean, before I was out, and then now that I'm back. So it hasn't been formally presented to Concom in terms of the full scale scope of the plan. We did preliminarily submit a summary, I believe it was in 2018. It was, or I'm sorry, I might be messing the years up here, but basically right before COVID, and they had suggested we apply the following year. And then, as we all know, everything sort of broke loose there. And this is us coming back to it. And that's also a property I've been made aware of a few individuals who would benefit from a trail like that, who live in the area and regularly visit that. That wasn't the driving factor. The driving factor was, again, the scope of work, having a point of interest that is beneficial and not just going out into the middle of essentially nowhere to some individual's perspective.
Right.
So that's one of the properties that I had thought of, and the commission at that time was supportive. And so that's why I've been going forward with that thought in mind. The other was at Bowers, but again, due to the earthen dam status right now, due to the dog issues, I would not be encouraging someone who has overarching concerns or abilities to be utilizing that property as an accessible property, because there's just too much of a risk there, in my opinion.
Okay, well, thank you. That's I know those are complicated projects, but the ones that I've seen are great additions to the community.
Thank you. Yes, and I would tend to agree, and that's why when I started looking at a property that could be applicable to that, and obviously it takes some time to do that, or hiring that work out, making sure that it's something that will be beneficial. But I think it's a whole range of community members that it could benefit.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for being here tonight. Please, when you do need support from the board, just let us know, and we will do what we can to help you out.
Thank you. I appreciate your time this evening as well.
Okay, have a good night. Okay, next on the agenda is the intent to accept layout of the public way, which is Moderator Way. The status of this this street acceptance is a little unusual in that this was subject to a negotiated settlement agreement. So it is already owned by the town, but we still need to follow the process for laying out a public way. So there are two things that we need to do. There are two separate votes that we need to take, one of which is to lay out Moderator Way, and the second of which is to refer to the planning board. Brian, Bill, do either of you have any questions or comments?
I do not.
Okay. Then is there a motion that the select board of the town of Bolton intends on April 9th, 2026 to lay out the following as a public way? Moderator Way as shown on a plan entitled Street Acceptance Plan, Moderator Way, Bolton, Massachusetts, dated December 15th, 2025, and revised on March 13th, 26. prepared for the town of Bolton by Dillis and Roy Civil Design, drawing number 4991, street acceptance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So the next thing, is there a motion to refer the matter to the planning board for report and recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Okay, so next is our big agenda item for the evening, which is the annual town meeting and reviewing and voting recommendations on the articles. Before we get started, this is supposed to be a joint meeting with advisory. I don't see that there is a quorum, but I also know you guys had a meeting earlier tonight, I think. Don or Greg, does one of you, can you give an update as to kind of where you guys are at this point?
Yes, hi, Kate. I'm representing Don. Don's on an airplane right now, so we did review the warrant articles just right before this meeting. We all of the articles were reviewed. All the articles were passed. Just to note, Article 4 was reviewed outside of the consent package vote. Article 4 was passed 3-1.
Okay, so you don't have any other votes that you need to take, so you guys really don't need to come to order for this.
Okay,
Is that right? Okay,
that's my understanding.
all right. So that being said, I guess we are ready to move on to the review of the warrant. Jenny, do you want to share that? I caught you while you were
Yes.
gone.
No worries, I can do that right now.
Thanks for that update, Greg. Okay, so I'd like to try and run through these as quickly as possible. But we'll go through them one by one, although maybe we can group the planning board articles together. But other than that, I guess we'll go through one by one. Article 1 is to accept the annual reports. Is there any discussion on this article? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Okay, Article 2. Is there any discussion on the unpaid bills for previous fiscal years? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Jenny, I'm not sure if you want to put the vote in, like the 3 in favor. Okay. Okay, Article 3 is to replenish the reserve fund in an amount not to exceed $175,000. And this is to the advisory reserve fund. Are there any questions or discussion on Article 3?
Not from me.
Is there a motion to approve Article 3?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Okay, Article 4, which is the big one, which is the fiscal year 2027 operating budget. This would vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $34,901,624. And it also includes transfers from the ALS revolving fund, Parks and Rec revolving fund. Is there any discussion on this article?
I had a question for Dawn or Greg if they feel just comfortable explaining. Do we know what the nature of the opposition was? I wasn't able to attend that meeting.
Don, are you comfortable talking to that, or would you like to?
Yeah, sure. This is on the budget.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Article 4 we
Okay.
discussed.
My concern with the budget is the school. During my tenure and previously, the school has never, I have three main issues. During my tenure and previously, the school has never presented a budget at 2.5% or less. And they always seem to be significantly more. So I have concerns about that. Number two, on I think it was October 19th, the school voted to keep funds, extra funds that they received from the state. And number three, they added this to the over 2-something million worth of reserve fund that they're keeping despite our forced to do overrides, etc. And I feel that they're not collaborating with the three towns and the town's taxpayers. And I felt the need to make a statement. I don't expect everyone to storm the castle with me or break out the pitchforks or anything like that. But I think it needs to be noted that I don't feel the school is collaborating with us appropriately.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you explaining that.
Sure.
And I'm also, I guess, glad to hear in your explanation that there's no concern specifically on the town of Bolton's side of things.
Oh, no. If anything, I'd say the opposite is that the school keeps forcing the town to take less to some degree. If they keep taking 4% or, whatever, then there's less for the rest of the town.
Yeah, Dawn, I share your concerns pretty precisely. And this was one of the select board goals this year, was to try and collaborate with the school district to come to some revenue sharing principles, in light of the financial constraints that Bolton is operating under. And I share the concern that I don't think that the school district has been receptive to our concerns. So I share all of the concerns, and I also would agree with you that I think on the municipal side, things are run very tightly. So is there any other discussion or any other comments with regard to Article 4, the operating budget? Okay, is there a motion to approve Article 4?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am voting no for reasons that I have discussed. Okay, Article 5 is a new revolving fund for Parks and Recreation. This is essentially to ensure that the funds that are for programming in Parks and Rec go into an appropriate fund for that, and that funds that Parks and Rec receives for field usage fees go into a fund that will specifically maintain the fields. Is there a motion? Oh, and it also sets limits on the amounts that may be expended from the revolving funds. Is there a motion with respect to Article 5?
Motion to approve Article 5?
Second.
All right, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 6 is required annually to set limits on the amounts that can be expended from all of the town's existing revolving funds. Any questions or discussion on Article 6?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Okay, Article 7 to transfer the sum of $427,434.25 to the stabilization fund. And this would be a transfer out of fiscal year 2025 free cash. Is there any discussion or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 7.
Second that.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 8 is a initial proposed transfer to our brand new capital stabilization fund, also which would be out of fiscal year 2025 free cash in the amount of $579,428. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Okay, for Article 9, OPEB contributions, this is being partially funded out of the operating budget. But this is an article for the application of $98,296 from free cash to fully fund OPEB. Is there a motion to approve Article 9?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 9.
Second that.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Let's see, Articles 10, 11, 12, 13. So 10 through 13 are planning board articles. Does anybody want to discuss those separately or individually? Or does anyone want to make a motion to collectively approve those articles? Okay, then we will go through them one by one. Article 10, land use table. Is there any discussion on the land use table?
Sorry, Kate. I was just going back to the the index to make sure that I had the numbers right. I was going to make a
sorry.
motion. I was going to make a motion
Yeah.
collectively.
Okay, go for it.
Sorry about that.
I was doing the same thing. I was trying to scroll through.
Sorry.
So I would make a motion. I'd make a motion to approve Article 10, land use table, Article 11, driveways and parking bylaw, Article 12, major residential development bylaw, and Article 13, inclusionary zoning amendment.
I second that.
Okay, roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article, oh, I'll
We-
give Jenny a second.
We basically, also, Article 14 is about the street acceptance that we just essentially called a hearing for, so I would make a motion to approve Article 14.
I second that.
Okay, roll call, Brian,
Yep.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Now we are coming up on our capital articles. Article 15 is engineering for the repair or replacement of the drinking water well at the public safety building. Is there any discussion or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 15.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 16 is the replacement of the public safety building phones, which are becoming functionally obsolete and unsupported. Is there a motion to approve Article 16?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Transfer station cameras. This is to for the sum of $33,833.05, which would both install cameras and also provide internet access at the transfer station. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 18 is the deferred request from last year for the DPW garage painting in the amount of $46,500. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 19 is one of the items that NRSD has presented as one of their specific needs this year, which is for network switches at Florence Sawyer and Emerson to replace their obsolete network switches. Is there a motion to approve Article 19?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 20 is the other article put forth by the school district, which is to replace the doors at Emerson School. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 21 is for wastewater treatment facility upgrades. This is one of the items that we would be looking to actually appropriate money out of the capital stabilization fund that we are funding this year. And this is in the amount of $59,438 as part of an ongoing maintenance plan to maintain the groundwater discharge permit.
Motion to approve Article 21.
Second that.
Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 22 is fire pond improvements. Similarly, this would be funded out of the capital stabilization fund. Is there a motion to approve Article 22?
I just had a quick question, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting because I think I may have had this answered in a previous meeting, but so this is going to become one of these evergreen articles that we include going forward because we've taken it out of the operating budget.
If yes, and this would be evergreen if all funds were expended, because the articles have a 3-year duration
Yeah.
to spend.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so if it gets spent, we would presumably refund it the next year. Is there a motion?
Sure. Motion to approve.
Second that.
Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 23, highway improvements. This is to transfer $75,000 into our local improvements line item from the capital stabilization fund to pave Marinot Road. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Article 24, which we discussed with Rebecca earlier, is the Bower Brook repair of earthen dam in the amount of $75,000 from capital stabilization with the hopes that we will be receiving those grants. Is there a motion to approve Article 24?
Motion to approve Article 24.
Second that.
Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
I am also a yes. Articles 25 and 26 are for replacement of heavy-duty dump trucks for the Department of Public Works, our aged vehicles. Is there any discussion on either of those articles, or is there a motion to approve both of them together?
Motion to approve Article 25 and 26.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Article 7 is to allow the select board to accept easements, which would shorten the time necessary for various projects in town. Does not have any financial repercussions to the town. There are no costs associated with it. Is there a motion to approve Article 27?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
I am also a yes. Article 28 is to adopt MGL Chapter 138, Section 33B, alcohol service on Sundays, which would authorize the select board to extend the hours for alcohol to be served on Sundays and legal holidays to 10 a.m. instead of starting at noon. Is there a motion to approve Article 28?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
I am also a yes. And last but not least, is there a motion to approve Article 9 to authorize a town election on Monday, May 11th, 2026, between the hours of noon and 8 p.m.?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Next, but related, is review and vote to approve the select board statement. Jenny, are you able to share that?
Yes.
Great.
One of these windows, hang on one sec. Right. Oh, that's the red line. You sent me a clean one, didn't you?
I think so.
It would be from me. Yeah.
Ah, that's the
Yeah,
problem. Like these are all
9:49.
red lines. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. This morning.
There it is. It says clean copy in big letters. Oops.
Thanks, Jenny. So any comments, questions, edits from the board?
I have a couple, Kate. Would it be, well, I'll just read them out, and if I need to share my screen, I can do that as well.
Do we
On
want to take it page by page? Is that the easiest way?
my suggested edits are on page 1.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so the first sentence I have, last year we reluctantly asked the town to support a Prop 2.5 override for the first time in more than 20 years, as structural budget issues and cost pressure in key areas had caused the town's operating expenses to exceed what Proposition 2.5 permits the town to raise.
Yeah, I think that's fine, although I'd also like to keep the new growth revenue language at the very
Okay.
end, Prop 2.5 and new growth.
Okay, so it would read, had caused the town's operating expenses to exceed what Proposition 2.5 and new growth permits the town to raise.
I think that would work. Brian, do you have any concerns?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay, on the operating budget under Article 4, the second paragraph, I have where you have the town does not control the education. I have the town does not directly control the budget prepared by the Neshoba Regional School District, but the town has advised its school committee members and administration that assessments over 3% are unsustainable going forward without dramatic cuts to town services and resulting in the education budget crowding out all other spending.
That change is fine with me.
I'm fine with that too, but just a sort of logistical point. If Kate and I are okay with these changes, I do think to save Jenny's sanity, we should probably just ask Bill to send a red line after this meetings to capture it.
Yeah,
Does it make
I
sense to
just
have
didn't-
Bill share now too? Because I'm happy to stop sharing.
Do you want me to share? Okay.
And thank you, Brian.
I just didn't get to these things in time to get something out.
This was a late breaking draft.
Well, I can cut to the chase while Bill is bringing up his. My only thing was I was like, do we really want to say rigorous participation in the last line? But we'll leave it in there, Kate.
Democracy at work, Brian.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you see that okay?
Yes.
The board.
Yeah, just so you know, we can see a bunch of windows, so proceed with caution.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see
that-
the 2026 warrant is what I'm seeing.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me try
No, no.
this again.
Yeah.
I got too many things open on my screen.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go.
So the blue is my changes on that first line.
Yeah, so I would just ask
Yeah.
that proposition 2.5 and new growth.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you just want to go through your changes, Bill, that's great.
Yep. And so this is the second paragraph.
Yep.
And the slight change in this last paragraph of that section.
My only thought there is if it's possible to put in parentheses what like after the this year's proposed NRSD operating expense increase, and then in parentheses the hard dollar amount.
This user increase for.
And
Okay.
I think that was in a prior draft, which I don't have in front of me. But it was something like $794,000, if I recall. Marie's just nodding her head.
Yes, it is 794,877.
Would you want a graphic in there? Do you think that would be helpful?
So hold on a minute. Sorry, can you no, I don't think we want to add a graphic.
Okay.
But I do have a question though. So up above where it says the major components of this increase, and it has education at 708,087. Sorry, just can you quickly tie that out for me? Because I'm not sure how
Sure.
that would be less than the NRSD.
Because Minuteman's assessment had declined.
Ah, okay.
Here is that graphic. And these numbers may be a little off because I was working off a dated spreadsheet, but the story is the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to put a graphic in, but I think Brian's point of doing the parenthetical that has the dollar amount
Okay.
might be helpful, like after the 4.31%. I think it was 794,877.
Seven, 9, 4.
877.
Okay.
Yep.
Those are my only suggested changes.
Oh, all right. Brian, you want to revise rigorous?
No, I think this is great. Great job, Kate. And
Okay, thank you.
oh, Marie.
And I just wanted to sort of jump up on that on the town side paragraph. After the 2% cost of living adjustment after last year's 0% COLA, something to indicate that 2% cost of living adjustment is for non-union staff.
So 2% cost of living adjustment for
For
non-union.
non-union staff.
So after the parenthetical of
Yep.
COLA.
You inherited this task, Bill. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't think I've heard parenthetical since college, so I'm learning something.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, is there a motion to approve the select board statement?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes.
Good job on that, Kate.
Thank you. And last but not least, is there a motion to close the May 4th, 2026 annual town meeting warrant?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So thank you all. All right. Next
And
up,
can I just remind the public in this moment that we will be executing the select board approved warrant communication plan? And I'll begin that process tomorrow by getting the warrant up on the website.
awesome. Thanks, Jenny. All right, next up on our agenda is our town clerk with an update on town caucus and recommendations on early voting. And if I also had to bet money, I bet we're going to hear about dog licenses.
That time of year. Well, to start with the dog licenses, they are due on the 31st. We are about 67% complete at this point. So next week we'll begin the task of starting to call some friends to
And
say
what
license your dogs.
What will happen to people who do not license their dogs in time?
They may be subject to a late fee, which would be applied to the current fee that they are assessed. So we need there's some outstanding licenses that aren't going through yet because we need an updated rabies certificate. So Jody's been calling vet offices, trying to get updated information to get those processed. So we're moving along. I actually ran a report. We're in the same exact spot as we were last year at this time. So consistency is key.
All right.
And Kristen, do the rabies forms did you get? They're good for 2 years. So if you have them on file, they're good for 2 years?
Anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 years, depending on what vaccine the vet chooses to give.
Okay.
I would say the majority puppies get 1 year, older dogs get 3 years. So yes, once that's on file, we only need one every 3, and we do encourage people if something happens, if they get a new one in that time frame, send it to us. We'll get the date extended so we don't have to, hold up the process the year that they're due.
Okay, thank you.
So town caucus was held on Monday, March 2nd at the town hall down the select board room. We had a quorum of 25, exactly, with one chair left open in the front row. I believe the change in the location and the lower number of open seats this year kept the quorum smaller than in past years. Just want to thank everybody in attendance for making the space work with the change in the location, and we look forward to working with the library to be back next year.
Kristen, can I ask a quick question? I'm sorry,
yes.
I don't know this. Do we have any candidates for school committee?
We do not. So I was about to say all seats had nominations with the exception of school committee. and there is two candidates for select board. So school committee did not have a nomination, and there were no papers filed this week from anybody either. There was an opportunity for someone to take out papers, collect the signatures, return that to our office, which we did not receive any. So that
So
the ballot
Kristen,
will go blank, and there could be a write-in campaign if somebody is looking to do that still at this point.
and what does it take for a write-in?
That I have to confirm the number of votes. I had in my head 5, because but I will have to confirm the exact number, as that may happen this year. So.
Okay.
I think it would also be helpful. We don't necessarily have to receive this information in a future meeting, but if you could just remind us or Marie what the process is if there's an election and we don't actually have an elected member, what is the process to fill an empty seat?
It's the joint appointment that you've done before.
Yeah. Okay.
And also that evening, candidates signed and accepted their nominations, and people were offered campaign finance forms if need be. So that pretty much, with the papers not coming in this week, wrapped up, the caucus. I have submitted the ballot questionnaire to the company, and I'll be getting the proof back on Monday. So that process is moving along toward the election. Any other questions on the caucus? No?
Nope.
The Board of Registrars met on Monday, March 16th at Town Hall. For this, one of the items on the meeting was the discussion of early voting for the May 11th election. And they recommended that early voting take place during the town clerk's normal office hours, Monday, May 4th through Thursday, the 7th at Town Hall. Last year, we did offer a late evening. We were open till 6 p.m. one night. It was poorly attended, if at all. So we did not see the need to repeat that this year. Last year, with the question on the ballot, with the election, made it a little more attended, with the number of voters showing up. So we offered that one late night for people. This year, it was the Board of Registrars did not recommend that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's all I
Okay.
have there.
Great. Well, thank you. Is there any discussion by the board about the proposed early voting schedule?
Oh, thank you, Kristen.
Welcome.
Thank you, Kristen. Is there a motion to approve the early voting schedule set forth in the packet?
So moved.
Second that.
All right, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. All right, Kristen,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a
One
great
more
night.
time, everybody go license your dogs.
License your dogs.
Thanks. Okay, next up, a little bit late, public comment. Is anyone here for public comment? Not seeing anyone. We will move on to the town administrator report. Go for it, Marie.
All right. A short update with regards to some of the ongoing projects. The Director of Planning has been tracking any outstanding items for Alton Neshoba, including the lacrosse field repairs. There will be a site walk next week. Additionally, there will be a formal surety performance agreement coming before the board at a future session. This is in accordance with one of the conditions in the comprehensive permit. We've been holding the $10,000. They also want us to stipulate what would allow that to be released. The temporary disinfection installation is in process, and one earmark has been submitted for the 1.5 million to the Representative Congresswoman Trahan's office. The 117 Main Street culvert, for which I thanked Representative Hogan earlier, is approaching the 25% design completion. I will be following up with Representative Hogan and Senator Kennedy as we are going to be submitting a request for the $8.6 million for the appropriation. So that is due next Friday. I will likely also be following up with the select board chair for yet another upload of a supportive letter. No change in terms of the easement language, but I'm hopeful then that the acceptance passes at town meeting for the general easement, and then all the timing works out perfectly. We have not yet received news that the Special Act alcohol will be passed, although in one of the views, the legislation, it states under it ought to pass, which I would say about many things. And you'd heard my comments and questions earlier regarding the DCAM land. The contractor for the roundabout will be coming back. We don't have a final date, but one can see signs of their return as they start mobilizing, and they'll be back for their final completion items and installing that light that the select board had wanted that the utility provider was not able to place on the existing pole. So it'll be a very nice light in keeping with all the other lights around the roundabout. Under staffing and operations, as I broached with the board, but also wanted to relay to the public that our town accountant, Ninashka Rogers, after 18 years, will be retiring shortly after town meeting. For me personally and for the town hall, she's been incredibly knowledgeable and definitely dedicated to ensuring the integrity and the accuracy of the town's finances. Work is set an incredibly high bar. As folks are aware, Donald Murphy had been appointed. I also expressed my appreciation to the members of the police department and the fire chief who were able to attend. There will be a more formal pinning service. We're just still working out the logistics. We'd received 2 responses to our non-binding request for quotes as we explore what is out there in the market for approximately 7,000 square feet of office space. I'm additionally have followed up, will continue to follow up until I receive an answer from Mass Historical regarding any of the implications of a preservation restriction that had been placed on the town hall, both for the interior and exterior. I'd mentioned privately to the board my undue respect for the work on the website that Jenny Jacobson has done. We're waiting their confirmation of the go live date, and this is now expected in early April. And next week, we're meeting with our existing voice over internet provider just to see if our existing package contains features that we're already paying for and perhaps we are not entirely using. In the select board's packet, there was a heads up that the DPW director will be requesting an increase, very modest, and by modest I mean $5 for some items on the disposal schedule, just to cover the cost to dispose. This is not a money-making opportunity, but ideally this would also not be a money-losing moment, and that will be on an upcoming select board agenda. Park and Rec, incredibly busy. Summer camp registrations are ongoing. Individuals who wish to sign up their child should preferably do it before May 3rd, as the discount will be ending. To date, they've gotten 153 registrations this year by virtue of the transition to a new software package. Individuals have to put down a deposit that is non-refundable. And so we could see how many payments we've received, how much is due. So they close that out. This weekend, there are 2 events coming up. One on Puzzlepalooza, and I want to say Friday. I don't know why I said Saturday. Friday at 6:30 p.m. My bad. At the
With
Florence
all of the
Fair
members
School.
of the select board.
Ah, right. I can't edit in real time. That's far above me. And the Easter egg hunt, which will be happening on Sunday at 4 p.m. on the town common. And I shared with the board the quarterly performance update for the community choice. Those efforts continue to save Bolton residents money. Transfer Station Committee had held their first meeting. They will be looking at holding their next meeting on the 13th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Unfortunately, missing the advisory committee's budget update. We've already heard about the dog licenses, and the candidates night will be held on April 14th. I provided just a short visual because I realized in standing back and looking at the warrant, it does seem like, geez, there are a lot of dollar signs here and what's going on. And so to that end, I resurrected a little graph on the left that was presented to the board way back in September of 25. In effect, every year a municipality gets its free cash certified. It is allocated. Any remaining balance and other unused turnbacks are assessed, compiled, they become certified, moves on. I was looking for a circular icon, couldn't find a circular icon, but wanted to visually show this is how the warrant is flowing. The initial articles are addressing the former fiscal year. The reserve fund is addressing this fiscal year. Subsequently, then we're taking some of our larger than expected or larger than usual free cash due to a series of one-time events and putting it into savings. Then we're addressing some items in fiscal 27 so that we continue our actuarially determined contribution and then funding one-off capital items. I don't know if that's, the warrant is absolutely appropriate and in the correct language, but I also realize for the casual individual clicking through, it can look like an awful lot of numbers. I received some questions regarding what happens if, the money is transferred to the reserve fund and we don't need to fund our snow and ice deficit to that extent. Any of those monies for fiscal 26 will be going and assessed as part of our free cash of 26, which would be certified in the fall. It's a cycle, and that would be available at the next town meeting for fiscal 28. Those transfers to savings and the capital stabilization fund, I also just wanted to point out anything unexpended, using the example of the Bower Brook repair, which we'll be receiving notice of in June. Those unexpended funds would be returning to capital stabilization after 3 years. So it's sort of a closing a loop on that, because my belief and understanding is that the capital stabilization is seen as basically a funding source for municipal projects. So that's my overview. I realize you've already gone through the warrant in incredible detail prior to this, but just wanted to try to make it more visual, or just to show the flow of, where does the money go and what happens next.
Okay, thanks, Marie.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the board?
Marie, I have one question. On the 3-year time frame where the money flows back into the capital stabilization fund, does it have to be 3 years?
The
Can it
articles are appropriations. I'm not sure if we've formally accepted it or informally, but unexpended appropriations would be returning to their funding source or free for other appropriation. In this case, because they have a discrete funding source, it's not from free cash back to free cash.
So on the Bowers project, if these grants come through, does that money flow back to capital stabilization once the grants are secured and funded, or does it?
You know what, for this, before I would need to ask Ninotchka if Rebecca could say happy day in June. I won't be using this. How do I, indicate that this can be closed back? Don't know.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just was confused on that.
Good question.
Okay, moving on to select board business. There are a couple of announcements that that we'd like to make, and this is essentially following through with the information, budget information sessions that we did last year before town meeting. On Monday, April 13th at 7 p.m., location to be determined. There will be a budget information night hosted by Advisory Chair Bob Guerrero. And on Monday, April 27th at 7 p.m. at the Houghton Building, there will be a warrant and budget information session hosted by Town Moderator Doug Story. Are there any public service announcements from the board?
Not from me.
Okay,
I have one, Kate.
go for it.
March 31st, Oak and Orchard. The Bolton Youth Sports are having a fundraiser, and I believe 30%, if you tell your server, I believe 30% of your bill ex alcohol goes towards their organization.
Great. Okay, I don't have any public service announcements, but I do have a select board report, which is to follow up on a resident question about the status of our tax title accounts. So I have gotten an update from our tax collector and treasurer, Michelle Carlisle. There are currently 11 properties that are in tax title at the land court. 8 of those specifically pertain to parcels at Century Mill Estates. All of those have been sitting since May of 2025 at the land court, awaiting land court action. So the town has dotted its I's and crossed its T's on those, and we are just waiting for the land court to take action. There are 2 parcels on South Bolton Road, which are in tax title. One of those similarly has been waiting at land court since May of 2025. The other parcel on South Bolton Road is awaiting the court to take action and issue required legal notices. And the town completed its part on that on March 3rd of this year. So that will be another waiting game. And the final parcel that is in tax title is a little bit complicated in that there is an ongoing police investigation relevant to that is holding up our ability to move forward in land court. And the treasurer has also asked me to remind people that she is available to field questions from residents. If you have any questions, her number is 978-779-3310. Are there any other select board reports? Okay, any future agenda items? All right. And we have been alerted to a vacancy on the Public Ways Safety Committee. Sylvia Ivanska has advised that she is stepping down, so we have a vacancy there. I do see that Mary's here. Mary Chumo, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Hold on. Yes, so Alan Levin is here. Okay, there I am. So at our committee meeting last night, we voted in Alan Levin to be a new member of Public Ways Safety Committee. Alan approached us a while back concerning an issue that he had on his road, and he has decided that he is interested in being on our committee, and with the vacancy we did last night, we voted him in. So
okay. Well, I am just wondering whether that position has been posted, because generally I think we would post the position so that we knew if there were other applicants who were interested.
Okay, so the member who resigned, she just recently put in her resignation letter, even though she had been absent from the committee for quite a while now. So what should the procedure be, that Kristen should post the position?
I think probably Jenny would post on the
Okay.
town website, and usually with Jenny, where do we post?
Yep, I could also ask Kristen to put it in the clerk's corner in the independent newspaper, but I can get that up early next week, and then we can add an item to the April 9th agenda to consider the recommendation from the committee, and I can let you know at that time if there's been any other applications received.
Okay, sorry, Alan. Sorry about that.
Sorry, it's nothing against you, Alan, but we do want to make sure that anybody who's interested in volunteering for the town is given the opportunity to do that. So I do appreciate both of you being here, though, and we will take this up again after the position has been posted.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Next is there a motion to approve the bills and payroll warrants W26-19?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. And last but not least is a review of the February 26th, 2026 minutes. I know I gave Jenny some very late breaking minor edits. Okay. Any other comments? Or is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second that.
All right, roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. And in the high hopes that I am going to make my 9 o'clock train.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Night.